That's kind of how I know of you, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do this, man. We just gonna jump right in. Yes, yes, y'all. Once
Cool.
again, it's your guy DJ Klyph, man. It's another episode of the Klyph Notes podcast. A big shout out, right quick, to X-Ray FM for constantly providing support, providing the platform, providing the location. We get an opportunity to do our recording, and once again, shout out to my folk over at Acapella Apparel. Check them out, acapellaapparel.com. This has been another one of those. I feel like I say this all the time, but it's just because it's constantly true. Another one of those episodes that's sort of been a long time coming. I've had an opportunity to know this cat for a number of years, and just really wanted to get him in here and talk a little bit about his history and the things that he's working on now and the foundation for a lot of that. So without any further ado, my man, let him know who you are.
DJ Sneakers, Kiasu Records. What up?
That's what's up, bro. How are you, man?
I'm good, man.
Look,
thanks
bro,
for having me.
Absolutely, man. You know, you're always out and about. I get to see you out in the scene at events and stuff, and so it's good. And we get to chop it up a little bit, but to be able to just sit down and chop it is, it's pretty cool, bro.
Yeah, man. It's good, man. It's good to catch up with you,
man. It's when I think about sneakers, sort of remembering when I first got to know you, heard your name around. I think when I first heard your name, it was when you was on the radio.
Word.
When you was doing the mix over at Jammin', I think.
Yes.
That's when I first heard your name.
So that was like what, 06, 05, 06?
06, I think.
Yeah.
But that's not where it started. You was like you was a club DJ. You was a
Yeah. I started out actually DJing for rappers.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Back in so I moved to Portland in 2000, I think 2001.
Okay. See, I always assumed you was from Portland.
No.
Okay.
No, I grew up in Pendleton, Oregon.
I know where Pendleton is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pendleton Roundup.
Yeah, the Pendleton Roundup, man. Yeah. And big up to Pendleton, Oregon. But I moved out here in 99, 2000 to go to Portland State.
Okay.
And hooked up with DJ Evil One. Word. Who's still to this day one of my best friends in life. Great guy. And he actually had one of the top 4 hip hop websites in the entire country.
Word.
A lot of people don't remember that.
Yeah.
His website was called Elevated Minds. So
okay.
I was a hip hop head, obviously.
Yeah.
So when I met him, I was just like, oh man, this guy's on, right? Like he was like the mummy at the Eminem show, right? Like he would come out like dressed as a mummy because he actually interviewed Eminem, and backstage they were like, we need a mummy, and that was him. What? So like to me at the time as like a 19, 20-year-old, I was like, yo, this dude is like doing the stuff that I want to do, right? Like he's on stage, whatever. Like I didn't care what it was. I just wanted to be a part of hip hop, right? And that's what he was, right, at the same time. So when I met him, we just like instantly linked, right? And he was already DJing. So we had a lot of stuff in common. I was an old school hip hop head and he was already doing it. So I just knew that like I had to like somehow connect myself and make sure that I was like helping him with his grind and his hustle. And that's really how I entered into the whole hip hop world.
That's crazy. So I've never met Evil One. I think the first time
you haven't met Evil One?
I've not met him, and I know he's still doing stuff. You know what I mean? I know he's got a spot. He's got a couple spots, doesn't he?
He owns like 3 bars now. Like
I've never met him, but
and they're all like hip hop oriented.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, shout out to Evil One, man. He's dope, man. He's one of my best friends.
Well, that's what's up. There was a show that when Lightheaded was still a crew. There was a show that Lightheaded did, and I think. I heard his name around it, so I don't remember if he was DJing for the show or whatever. And then I was talking to Omega Watts before he left the Northwest a bit ago, and he was saying, there was a spot he was gonna go to, and he used his government name. I was like, I've never heard him. So DJ Evil One. I was like, oh, okay. So it's crazy that, and that's one of the other things that's cool
Omega Watts actually, when Omega moved to Portland, he lived with Evil One.
Okay, so they're tight. That's what's up.
That's tight. What's up. Yeah, back in the day.
So before you came to Portland in Pendleton, were you a fan of hip hop? Were you DJing then?
Dude, I was a fan since '88. So my first rap album was the Fat Boys.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember the one that came out in '88. Coming Back Hard or something like that in '88. And then at the same year, I got the He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Word.
And I memorized all the lyrics to that. Every single lyric. I still know them.
Right.
Don't make me rap right now.
I got some beats. You know what I'm saying? I got some beats.
Yeah. But so from like '88 on, I've been dialed in.
Word.
Yo MTV Raps was like church to me as a kid out there. And then, you know, all of my extra money went to buying rap tapes. You know, there wasn't even a shopping mall out there. So my parents would drive us up to Kennewick, Washington, which was like an hour away. And I'd spend all of my money on like Das Effects tapes and Public Enemy tapes, and I just wear those things out. I used to make mixtapes for my friends in middle school, all that stuff, man. I was ahead.
So was it for you? Was it always DJing, or were you MCing at all?
Never.
Okay.
Evil One will tell you though. I used to like back in like the early days of the cell phone, when like you first had like voicemail and stuff like that. I used to just call him and let it go to voicemail, and I dropped like a 16, but it was brutal. And he would call me back and be like, "Never do that shit again." It was terrible.
Right.
But yeah, no. I've always been like focused on, you know, DJing and stuff like that.
Got you. So got to know Evil One, and is that where you started picking up, you know, skills on the turntables?
Yes. He was with me when we bought my first set of turntables and taught me how to set them all up or whatever. He was in like, actually he used to open up for DJ Wicked.
Okay.
Back in like the Jezebels days. So we're talking about 2001, 2001.
Okay.
Back in like the Jezebels days, which if you talk to anybody from Portland, like the Jezebels scene is kind of legendary.
Word.
Right?
Okay.
And Evil One used to open up for Wicked those nights.
Okay.
So really I was just like the scrub, like carrying crates in every week. Not just Jezebels, but like every venue, every gig or whatever for like 2 years.
Oh, word.
And so like I was sitting down collecting vinyl, learning how to mix on vinyl, whatever, back in like 01, 02. I think my first gig was like a Monday night spot at like a pizza joint on Broadway in like 02.
And like a residency. Like
kind of like, but like we didn't really get paid. They gave us like drink tickets. You know what I mean? Like that was like 02, right? So but it was like a Monday night, so like 4 people would show up, right? That was like my whole thing. But basically I came up like carrying crates for Evil One and Wicked and anybody that I could really connect myself to. I was just trying to figure out how I could help, type of thing.
That's what's
like,
up.
That's like real old school DJ shit though.
Yeah.
You know, that's really how you got on.
Right.
You know, that's the problem with nowadays is a lot of these DJs, and I don't want to sound old, but like we really had to pay dues. Like I was spending $100 a week as like a nobody in the record store.
Right.
Before I even had a gig, right? Like that had to come out of something. Like I was working at Foot Locker. That's how I got the name DJ Sneakers.
Oh,
right?
word. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was working at Foot Locker at Lloyd Center.
Okay.
Right. That's how basically how I got my name.
Okay, I was wondering because I didn't know that. Yeah. But that's a conversation I've been having recently, just because I've been so blessed with the people I've been talking to, and I'm at a point now where I have to just stop saying, okay, I know I sound like an old head, because it's just facts, man. Things have changed, and there was a time where that is how you pay dues, was by carrying records, or by doing open mics, or by proving yourself.
Totally.
And times are such right now that you don't really have to do that. I think in large part because the internet provides an audience now that it didn't provide before internet time. Like you said, you were at a venue and there might be 3 or 4 people, and that's your audience, and that's it. Whereas now there's SoundCloud, and so you can do whatever and put it up on SoundCloud. And
well, at the same time, I think their peers don't hold them to that standard, right? Like back then, it was like you're not just gonna break into hip hop overnight, right? There's gonna be some people in your way. There's gonna be some people talking shit if you try to do that, right? Like you have to pay your dues.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And if you don't, even if you pay your dues, there's still gonna be people trying to like pull you down. That's how it was back in the early 2000s, late 90s. You know, you had to do that. You had to basically establish yourself as somebody that was worthy of getting on the turntables.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like just DJing on vinyl
Right.
is
different.
Yeah. Right? It's different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no cue points.
No, there's tape. You know what I'm saying? There's labels that I would use from my school folders or whatever that you mark your records with.
Yes.
Or you just really get to know your records.
Right.
I know when I first started spinning, there was no Serato. So all you had was vinyl.
That's it.
And it is interesting now, the convenience of I love the convenience of Serato or any of the digital platforms, but when you put a vinyl record on a turntable and you put that needle on that real vinyl,
yeah,
you can't beat that sound, man.
There's nothing beating that sound.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so warm.
Yeah, absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I heard your name on the radio, and then the first time that I saw you was actually at PDX Pop Now. I don't remember what year it was. And you were spinning for Hanit. Well, at the time, he was going by Luck One. Yeah. That was the first time. That was actually the first time I met Luck.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you started off DJing for artists.
For rappers,
so who else did you spin for?
So, back in like the early days, 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
One of my best friends growing up is named Micah Johnson. He's a guy from Pendleton.
Okay.
And he ended up going, like, at Portland State, he met Ryan Christensen, who owns Same Underneath. Same Underneath was like a big urban clothing line at the time, kind of like a cappella.
Got you.
But back then, right?
Yeah.
And it was all about like racial equality.
Word.
Same Underneath. Get it? We're all the same underneath.
That's dope.
Yeah. And so Ryan was friends with Antoine Stoudemire, Majestic, right?
Shout out to Majestic.
And so we right? So we were all kind of friends or whatever.
Got you.
Majestic heard that I was DJing.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, like I need a DJ.
Yeah.
You know, he was just starting to come up, right?
Gotcha.
He was kind of an offshoot from the Lifesavers movement. So Jumbo taught Majestic how to structure his bars.
Oh, word.
So Majestic was a dope rapper. He'd been rapping his whole life, right? But he didn't really know how to like structure a 16.
Yeah.
So Jumbo and Majestic were friends, and Jumbo kind of helped him structure his bars or whatever. And then Majestic's first DJ was Shines.
Okay.
So when I was actually before I went to Portland State, I was at Lane Community College, and I did just a free hip hop show, and Majestic came down and Rev Shines, and they just rock for free.
Word.
And I got an A in that class.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Word.
But then I moved to Portland. Shines obviously was busy with Lifesavers. Lifesavers was popping back then. Like they were like on. Traveling the world, whatever. So Majestic needed a DJ. I was just starting out. I was like, man, I'd love to get on with this cat because he's touring.
Yeah.
He's got a budget.
Yeah.
He's putting out albums, whatever. So I got on DJing for him, and
that's what's up.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. So, so then DJing for artists, and then where does the radio piece come in?
Oh man, that's way later on. Okay. So, toured with Majestic. Just did shows, period. Like he was on the cover of the Willamette Week. Mm-hmm. We got a bunch of heat off of that. We toured like the West Coast. We toured with Zion I. We did the whole West Coast with Zion I.
Yeah.
And the Crown City Rockers.
Yeah.
We had this whole run, and then I got to a point where I wanted to kind of break off and pursue my own stuff. So
in terms of production, or
just in terms of DJing, like when you're DJing for a rapper that's really active like he was and touring, doing all this stuff, you kind of, you basically, you either become the DJ for that rapper and that's your career,
right?
Or you break off and try to do other things. And like it started to become a little bit too much for me because I wasn't really like, the thing about DJing for MCs and rappers that a lot of people don't understand, or just DJing and period, is that it doesn't ever cover the cost of living, right? Like, I mean, you can get to a point where you're making enough to live comfortably.
Yeah.
But 99% of DJs got to have like another job, right? So I was always trying to like balance, like I was a college grad at that point, and I was trying to balance, working at Quiznos and whatever, going on the road with Twan, right? And doing all this stuff. So it became very taxing on my life, right? Gotcha. Like I was just like, man, like, I couldn't keep a job. I couldn't, didn't have enough money coming in. Like it just became super stressful. So I was like, I'd rather break off and kind of pursue my own thing. So that's basically what I did.
I feel you.
And then I ended up hooking up with Boom Bap Project.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Within a year or whatever of breaking off from Antoine, ended up hooking up with Destro and Boom Bap Project.
Yeah.
And then we toured Europe, right? Like,
bro, I had no idea, man. Okay.
Yeah. So, DJ'd for a lot of rappers, right? And then like before we went to Europe, I submitted a demo to Mark Mack at Jammin'.
Yeah.
I was just like, fuck it. Like they needed a DJ or whatever, and like that kind of went out, hey, we're looking for a DJ, and I was just like, man, this would be fun, like if I could get on with the radio, that'd be fresh, because that's like a steady paycheck type of situation. So I was like, all right, whatever. And like Juggernaut and all these guys like that I look up to as a DJ were already on like the radio. So I was like, man, I don't think they'll ever pick me up or whatever, but let's see what happens. So I submitted a demo to Mark Mack, and then I went on tour with Boom Bap Project for a month in like Germany, Switzerland, Denmark. Cool Nuts. I know you had Cool Nuts on last night. Cool Nuts was our manager at the time. Shout out to Cool Nuts. OG. Like, great guy.
There's so much that we talked about. There's so much that we didn't capture. But I think, again, me not being from Portland as well, when I came into the city and was trying to see, well, what is the local scene? And so you say, well, who's doing things in Portland? The first two names that I saw, Cool Nuts, and then Lifesavers. And Lifesavers, I think the first time I heard of Lifesavers because of an article that they had in, it was either the one that was in The Source or the one that was in Double XL. But then the whole time that I was here, like moved here, tried to get to know what was going on, Nuts' name was popping up. And then you get an opportunity to see the stuff that he's done associated with other people.
Do you remember the DBA? His group DBA.
I only know
like
of
Bosco.
I only know of them. Yeah.
I think they signed a deal with like, I want to say it was like Universal or something.
Yeah, he mentioned it. He mentioned that that getting because we were talking about I was talking to Verse, and Verse was telling me that back in the day when cats would save up their money to go into the studio to record, and then Nuts was like, bump that. And got his own studio. So y'all got to listen. If you haven't yet, you got to listen to the Cool Nuts podcast, because he tells a story on the previous episode of Klyph Notes. But yeah, man, just how they got that record deal and went and got some gear, and it was on in terms of
that was the hustle though.
Yeah.
You get the deal, you get a little bit of money, you go buy your MPC and your mics and all that stuff.
Yeah, changes things for real.
Yeah, man. But shout out to Cool Nuts, man. Yeah. Shout out to Versatile too, man.
Big ups to Verse.
I mean, it's a crime that he's not on. Like, I mean, he's on, but like, it's a crime that he's not like. I mean, it's tough to say because he's already internationally known. Heads know who he is, right? But it's a crime that like he's not like forefront of like hip hop, where people are like, this is the guy
related to Portland.
Yeah.
So coming up in the scene like you did, I think that's a very real argument. I think that there are a number of names that should be talked about more. Right. Especially now in this time where, you know, you've got people outside of the city, outside of the state who are looking at, oh, look at the music scene in Portland.
Right.
It seems like those are names that should be talked about more.
Yeah.
And I think that I've had conversations with people, there are many reasons that people feel like that may not be the case. In your estimation, what do you think it is? Why do you think we don't celebrate our own more?
Oh, why is it crabs in a bucket in Portland?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just feel like it's not, you know, the next closest city is Seattle, and they're far enough that like we feel like they're on another planet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, we kind of feel like it's scarcity mindset. That's really what it is. You know?
Yeah.
It comes down to like, okay, well, you know, what's the dude's name? Amine?
Yeah.
Okay, well he's on or whatever, so
Right.
I gotta like talk shit about him
Right.
because I feel like he's not real hip hop or whatever.
Yeah.
When like really we should be praising the dude for selling. How many he sell? Like
I don't even know.
he sold like maybe 3 million or something.
I don't even know. Some ridiculous
Something crazy,
number.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We should be praising dudes like that
Because to support the scene. Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Yeah. That's
He's
how
dope.
Yeah, I mean, but that's how you say, that's when you say you have a scene versus, oh, here is an artist who came out of the city.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that we know that there's a scene and there's been a scene, but it's so I did an interview with Taupe, and Taupe was saying that one of the things that he felt sad about was that there wasn't more documentation of the history. You know, we live in an area now where everybody has a cell phone, so now you get to capture shows and interviews and this, that, and the other.
Right.
But, man, can you imagine if we had more footage of, you know, early Lifesaver shows, early Cool Nuts shows, you know, early park jams?
I got a bunch.
Word?
Yeah. I got a bunch of, I got a whole, I'll share it with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah. That's what's up. Okay, so then you on the radio. You was on the radio for a minute.
Yeah, from like 05, 06 to 08. So that came about in kind of a weird way. So I was on tour with Boom Bap, right?
Right.
For a month.
Which bro, like, let me not just gloss over that, bro. Bro, you was on tour with Boom Bap Projects.
Yeah, man.
Bro,
it's big time.
Yeah.
It was at the time it didn't seem as big as now how I feel about it in my mind or whatever.
Just because you was in it. You were just doing it.
Well, it's tough touring with those guys, right? Like they just cap on you the whole time, right? Like, you know, they talk shit the whole time. Like Kareem is an asshole. Dom's an asshole. I'm an asshole, right? Like we were just out there.
Right.
We were the fattest people in Europe.
Wow.
Period.
Wow, bro. But just as a crew, though, I mean, that's like y'all are definitely a part of that's Northwest history, bro.
For sure. Yeah. Those guys are great, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm still real cool with all those guys.
No doubt.
But so I submitted this we went to Germany, Switzerland, Denmark. We were supposed to do Czech Republic, but it got canceled. Just in Berlin alone, we did like 2 weeks of touring. Wow. The city is so big, right? Like it was crazy. We did all these in-stores. Yeah. The vinyl scene out there is crazy. Our first show was nuts. They were like, what time you guys want to go on? We were like midnight, right? Because here, if you go on at midnight, that's the time to go on, right? In Berlin, that's when people just start showing up to the club.
Oh, word?
So, yeah, man. The club in Europe pops till like 6 a.m. So people show up at like midnight 1, right? And then it pops at 3. Oh, so our first couple shows, we were trying to figure that stuff out. Yeah. But it was crazy fun. Came back. Mark Mack from the radio called me. It was like, yo, I'd like you to try out for the spot on the radio. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. I was like, what do you want me to do? Yeah. He was like, submit more demos, because the demo that I submitted was cool from like a DJ standpoint, but he was like, the music that you're playing isn't like, you're playing like underground hip hop. I need you to play like Rihanna and shit. Like, actually at the time, it was probably pre-Rihanna.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was, but so I had to like get those records because it was still vinyl at the time.
Yeah.
So I had to like go get those records, mix those records or whatever, Ludacris and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And finally I got a mix cool enough that he submitted to the program director, and then the program director was like, okay, he's on. He hires me, and I'm doing the traffic jam.
Yeah.
Every single day,
Yeah.
which is traffic jam. Like if you're in radio, you know, like traffic is mornings and traffic. Those are like the two times that matter.
Yeah,
right?
that's when everybody's in their car.
Anything outside of that doesn't really fucking matter, right?
Yeah.
Mornings, traffic, that's what the companies that are advertising on the stations care about, right? So to give me traffic was amazing, right? And that's basically how I got my radio career started.
That's nuts, bruh.
Yeah.
Because people have to like work crazy hard to get those opportunities, and yours was just a blessing that you got it just like
it was,
that.
man.
Yeah.
And like because of that radio station, I got to meet so many artists, like world renowned artists or whatever. A lot of label people, but better than that, I got to meet people like Star Child, right? Like in a real way. Like I knew about Star Child, right? Like I knew Star before I got on the radio, but I got to actually hang out with him and get to know him. And DJ Juggernaut, who's
big up to Jugs,
in my opinion, one of the best, probably top 5 DJs on the entire West Coast.
Word.
Period.
Word.
Like Juggernaut is ill.
Yeah.
Right? Like ill. Got to know all those guys, and I learned radio or whatever. The problem with the radio is that it kind of, you get paid, right? Because you don't get paid for doing the radio, but you get paid for like the gigs outside of the radio, right? That you get to do like a bar mitzvah and you get $1,000 for it or whatever because you're on the radio, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But the problem with the radio is that they kind of box you in to thinking about music a certain way. And I fell victim to that. For a couple of years, I was just like, I was thinking about music in a way of like, instead of like, is it dope? It was more like, does it make people happy?
Yeah.
And there's a big difference between that.
Yeah. It's funny because I often say I'm so grateful now that I DJ for a station that gives me just the autonomy to play whatever I want.
Right.
Because I think it would be hard for me, just the way that I see music, it would be hard for me to do it any other way,
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like I said, that's a blessing. I'm just grateful for that. So you did radio for a while, but while you were doing radio, like you said, you were doing other gigs. Were you DJing for artists during that time as well?
I was. Soul P, Easy McCoy.
Yep.
Jay Chronic.
Word.
Honestly, I was a little bit more focused on DJ Sneakers at the time, because DJ Sneakers was bringing the money in at the time.
Yeah. No, I feel you. You got to keep the lights on.
It wasn't, and also I couldn't really tour because I was on the radio 7 days a week. A lot of radio DJs will do like their shift, like they'll do Monday through Friday, or they'll do the weekends if they got a weekend shift. Right. I did the traffic jam, but I also did like the weekend shifts. I just volunteered for any open slot that Jammin' had. I was like, I'll do it. Right. I would just raise my hand and come in. And the radio was bullshit. They'll pay you like $20 a mix. Yeah. Right. But that mix might take you 5 hours to prepare for. Yeah. Because you gotta, as you know, you're a radio DJ. Yeah. But you gotta take that. Jammin' had a very strict playlist, right? There were certain songs we could and could not play. Right. And I was a habitual line stepper when it came to the records that you can't play, right? Like I would sneak a Mobb Deep record in there, and I just knew sometime like within the hour after I played, like I'd be getting this call from my boss, like, Sneakers, why the fuck did you play Mobb Deep? At 4:50 p.m. And they just like, but every single day I'd try to get like something in there, whether it was like a Pharoah Monch record that nobody heard. I try to get something in there because it made me feel like I was like a real DJ. Yeah. But I mean, what I was hired to do is mix, records,
popular
commercial records.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it,
yeah.
you know? And that kind of killed me as a DJ, honestly.
Yeah. So after radio, what came next?
So I ended up getting fired.
For playing on the Mobb Deep records.
Nah, we basically Jammin' ended up getting bought out by another. It turned into a sports radio station.
Mm-hmm. I think I remember that.
So I got fired for a few months.
Yeah,
and then my boy Gavin Dawson, who was you know who that is?
I remember Gavin being on the radio.
Yeah, so Gavin's the homie, right? He calls me and he's like, "Hey man, I want to have like this music thing happening while I'm talking about sports."
Yeah, yeah.
And like I knew Gavin through like Ozone, and Ozone and Gavin are like homies or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm with it."
Yeah.
And so I ended up going in there a few months after Jammin' shut down. I was still in the same booth mixing records for Gavin's show.
That's crazy.
So I was on that sports radio station.
Okay.
And then that went away. And then I found out I was gonna have a kid.
Wow.
Right? Like right in that same little period, right?
Yeah.
And I was doing like a bunch of club stuff at the time. I was basically 4 or 5 nights a week in the clubs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Found out that I was gonna have a kid and shut it all down.
Yeah. That changes life for real.
Changed life.
Yeah.
And that was like
crazy.
08, 09, something like that. Yeah.
So then I feel like it was probably 08, 09. It's probably still a few years after that where I really got to know you, like see you out, start having conversations, start building, with you just being out and about. And then, like I said, I'd see you, be doing, you spin for somebody for a show, a local show or whatever.
Yeah.
And now, now you're so you never really left music, even though you weren't spinning on the radio or doing clubs. I mean, you still always stayed connected by, when you could, being out and supporting local cats, that sort of thing, which is dope.
I mean, it's life, It's at this point, it's more than just like a hobby, right? Like most of the people that I'm cool with, I know from music, right? So there's no escaping it,
right? It is truly being a part of the culture.
Yeah,
because culture is life. Culture is not just I listen to hip hop. It is life.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I'm part of the culture, I guess.
Yeah.
When I show up to shit, when I show up to a concert or whatever, I know most of the people that are there.
Yeah.
Maybe not most of the people that are there, but most of the people that are there that are like doing shit.
Yeah.
I know those people.
Yeah.
I try to break out and actually go to stuff where I don't know all of those people, because that's just, I want to expand a little bit.
Yeah.
But like if I go to Mic Check,
right,
it's like a family reunion.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But and one of the conversations that we often have is that there is another generation of artists now who are making art, and so to find those people who are skilled and talented and have that mindset to really make good hip hop, not just rap, but make good hip hop, and then start melding the new generation with the older generation, people who have laid that foundation, make those connections. I mean, it's one of the things that with a platform like Mic Check, we hope to be able to do. And so it's cool, someone like you who's been in the scene for many, many years, to have you there when we bring in some of the younger up and coming artists, and give you an opportunity to spread that wisdom to cats as they're coming up.
Man, some of these new people that are coming up are like, to me, like the new people are like Mike Capes. And he's been doing it for a minute, right?
Isn't that crazy though? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but he's dope as fuck.
Yeah.
And Benny Dwayne, they're dope as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's just good to see, some of these young guys, and they're not even that young, but like they're young enough that like they're, I'm 38, right? Like they're hella young to me, but they're dope.
Yeah.
Like they're doing hip hop the right way, and they're doing Portland hip hop the right way.
And that's, I think, when you talk about people who put in work ahead of time to get. So yeah, now if you look at Capes in particular, you know, he's doing more tours. Now you see him doing more performances outside of the city. But over the last 2 or 3 years, he's gotten a lot of recognition within the city through Record of the Year, getting recognized by a lot of local publications. But that came after him doing shows. He's been rhyming for years, whether it's the stuff that he's done with his crew or the stuff that he's done as a solo act. And so now he's gotten to a point where people who are not just within the hip hop community are recognizing his talent. Right. And that's why I think sometimes you got these cats where it feels like, man, yeah, they're really young. Well, to a degree, yeah, but they put in a lot of work.
It's crazy because just by being kind of tuned in to the scene or whatever, I ended up DJing for Luck One.
Yeah.
When he came out.
Yeah.
Right? Like he had his bid or whatever. He came out. And one of the cool things about being on the radio at the time is that a lot of inmates, right? A lot of people that are locked up, that's their only escape.
Yeah.
Right? Like not their only escape, but a
big one.
Musically, that's a real connection back to their community, right?
Yeah.
And we had that at Jammin'.
Yeah.
I used to sit in with Drea, who did the Slow Jam show.
Yeah.
And that was a trip. Like the only reason that I used to hang out with her during that show is that I needed to learn about slow jams, right? Like I knew all about hip hop or whatever, but I'd sit in there and try to figure out slow jams and dedications and all this stuff just for, you know, my own education.
Right.
And she would read these letters coming from OSP, and they were just super heartfelt. And that's when I kind of recognized, like, you know, this radio shit's actually important, you know? Yeah. So anyway, long story short, Luck One is released. Generic hooks me up with him to become his DJ for a little while. Gotcha. And it was dope. Like he flew me out to Atlanta for a show.
Yeah.
It was this crazy, like, it was a crazy, I don't know what you would call it. Maybe basically it was a show during the day where there was like rappers and there was dancers and a bunch of, like, it was almost like a big talent show throughout the day or whatever. Yeah. And Principal Belding from Saved by the Bell was the host. It was crazy. Word. Yeah. Okay. And we did that shit or whatever.
Okay.
But I don't know why I got kind of sidetracked to talk about that shit.
It's interesting though.
Super interesting. And then I flew back or whatever. But, you know, I hooked up with Luck One because of that. Yeah. And I'm actually looking forward to kind of connecting with some of these younger cats too.
Yeah. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. Chopped up with sneakers. So now you're in a place where you're providing opportunities for artists in a little bit of a different way via a record label.
Yes.
Was that something that through Kiasu Records, is that something that you had thought about for a minute? Did an opportunity present itself? Like, where does that come from?
So,
because I've always, bro, like, I ain't even gonna lie to you. There's a couple people who know this. I've always felt like it would be so cool to put a record out. I mean, just because, you know, put vinyl out. Because you put vinyl out, like now, even people who are not necessarily digging for vinyl, you know, you'll go back and you'll pick up a record and you flip it over and you look at the credits and you get to hold that, and it's just, there's a whole different.
It's a time capsule.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah. It absolutely is, and I've always thought that would be cool. But bro, you're doing it, man.
Yeah, man. It really came down to my connection with Bretto.
Word.
You know, Bretto's been putting it. Yeah, Libretto. You know, I've known Bretto for years and years, and we did a video called Free Libretto right before he got locked up. You can check that out on YouTube if you want. But really, like, he's always put out vinyl. Yeah. Like, he was on Denmark, Steve Aoki's label. He was like the only rapper on that label back then. The Volume 12-inch sold really well. Yeah. Obviously, you know, he's part of the Lifesavers crew, and they've always put out Misfit Man. They've always done the vinyl thing. Yeah. So it was just kind of natural. And so he finished up Captain Crook Snatching Crumbs and All.
Yeah.
This album that took him years to produce. And he just finished that up before he got locked up on his 5-year bid.
Yeah.
So at the time we were filming the Free Libretto project.
Yeah.
And it basically ended in the mastering studio with Freak, Ryan from Freak. Shout out to Ryan.
Yeah.
And like a day later, Bretto was locked up. And it was like, oh shit, like the project is still in the mastering studio, right? So I kind of worked with Ryan and we paid for the balance on the mastering charge or whatever. Not because Bretto couldn't do it himself. It's just he was locked up now.
Yeah.
So then I had the only master copies of that shit for years in my car.
Yeah.
And it's a classic to me. Like it's got everybody from like Kenny Mack to Guilty Simpson to all the Lifesavers guys to Barry Hampton, like all these people on it. Like and the production on it is great. It's a journey from beginning to end. It's like it's real life. It's and I had that. And I was like the only person who had ever heard it because I had the master copy. And Bretto's very secretive with his shit. Yeah. He's not just going to share that with people. Even his best friends hadn't heard it, right? So I had these copies and just sat on them for years and years. And then he gets out, right? And you supported him while he was locked up. You were shooting him ships, and I did too. And a lot of people, helped him out while he was in there. But then he gets out, and we kept in touch or whatever. But I hadn't even kicked it with him at all for several months when he got out. It was just like whatever. Then I heard him on your show, and he was talking about Captain Crook. And I remember sitting there in my house like, I mean, what is he talking about? Because I got the only copy of that shit.
Right.
So like I immediately texted him like, yo, what do you want to do with this? And he's like, you still got that? I was like, yeah, I got it. He's like, word. So we met like literally like a week or whatever after he was on your show.
That's
we
crazy.
met and we devised the whole plan to start Kiasu Records.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny. So Bretto did an episode of Klyph Notes, and it's cool to hear this perspective of I hadn't heard this. I hadn't heard this side. Wow. So you have the project. It's done. If you're gonna do something with Bretto, like you said, it's gonna be on vinyl.
Right. It's got to be on vinyl.
Right.
Every time.
Exactly.
He doesn't push shit out that's just on SoundCloud or whatever.
So then for you, was it sort of a like, yeah, this is an opportunity to do something I've wanted to do, or nah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's just do it.
I mean, there are those moments in life, right? Where it's like opportunities either present themselves to you or they reach out and grab you, right? And that was one that reached out and basically grabbed me. There's a lot of opportunities that come up in my life where, maybe it's not the right opportunity, right? Like for whatever reason, it doesn't align with your values or it's just something you're not passionate about or whatever. And you don't go for those, right? Because you need to go for the shit that makes sense for your life or whatever. This was an opportunity that just made sense for me on so many levels that it was a no-brainer for me. I was just like, okay. Start a record label? Of course.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. So we started it.
So you start the record label. This is the first release, man. We're sitting here looking at the vinyl right now, man.
Yeah.
Everything about it is crazy. From the art, the cover art, the background art, the actual vinyl being the colorway being purple. Bretto shared that on the inside there's actually handwritten notes.
There is.
I mean, there's so much history to this record, and you mentioned that it was recorded and it took years for it to actually be released, but it's a special project that I think touched a lot of people. And Bretto talked about how there are so many people who are on that project who are not here anymore, and that's you're getting to hear these voices from the past because they can't be here with us in the present.
Yeah, man, this is a real important record, and that's why we charged $100 a copy when it came out.
Yeah,
we only did 200 copies.
Yeah,
right. Like when these are gone, they're gone.
Right. I'm
never repressing anything that comes out on Kiasu Records is not ever going to be repressed. Period.
Wow.
So, when you see that we release something, if it's something you're interested in, swoop it up.
Yeah.
And I know that you do.
Oh yeah.
You're always one of the first.
Absolutely. When I see it posted, bro, I go grab it.
Completely appreciate that.
Yeah.
You and Matt Nelkin. Shout out to Matt Nelkin, man. On so many levels. Like he worked with Bretto before I did on vinyl projects and everything, and his label is more established than Kiasu Records by far.
Yeah.
But he's been so helpful.
Mm-hmm.
He's shared contacts. He's just been that guy that's been like, even in like the limited interactions that we've had, he's just been like mad supportive. He buys everything we put out. And he kind of points us in the right direction. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And you need that. You do. Right? Like he's made the mistakes and had the successes or whatever. Yeah. That he's, there's a lot of mistakes that you can make as a manufacturer. Yeah. Even, or as a record label. And he's definitely helped when he didn't have to at all. Right. So I appreciate that.
And that's one of the cool things about Matt and Hot 16 and really the Liquid Beat Records label, because I've had an opportunity to have conversations with Matt as well, and that's again one of the things that I love to see when you have people who even on that level, the level of a record label, where you can say, hey, you've done it, I want to do it, can I just come in and vibe with you for a minute? Yeah. So to see that is beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
Man. Like we need more people. That's the problem with Portland hip hop right now. Yeah. And the scene right now, excuse me, is we just need more people. Yeah. We need more indie record labels in Portland. We need more fans. We don't need more rappers. Yeah. We got a bunch of rappers. Yeah. We got some good rappers. Yeah. We got some really good producers. Yeah. Which I'm about to drop a flex bomb.
I know. I saw you. But, you said that you was gonna drop some. So I'm anxious.
But we got really good artists in the city. We don't really necessarily. Portland's gonna attract the artists, right? Like there's always gonna be the great artists moving in, like the last Artful Dodger is not from Portland, but she's great, right? Like she moved in, and it's like, man, more power to you. Like we need more last Artful Dodgers moving in. Yeah. But we need what we need is more, record label owners, fans of the music, people that are willing to put their money up to throw a concert, right? Yeah. More radio people. Like we need that part of the industry. Right. Right. But Matt Nelkin is one of those guys that's just like, man, he's an open book. Like if you ask him, any type of advice, he's going to share it with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And so he's been great.
That's what's up, bro. Yeah. That's what's up. So you dropped the first one, like you said, man. You guys put it out there. We believe in this record. We'd love for you to have it. Yeah. $100. And people responded. Like
they did, man.
People definitely responded.
They did. Bretto's got that built-in fan base that, $100 is pretty steep for a lot of people. Yeah. And we definitely recognize that. Yeah. But our thing is, I just kind of destroyed one of these opening it up. It's all bent and shit right here, which is terrible because it's like one of 200, right? Like I feel bad about that right now. Right. But this will be my personal copy or whatever.
There you go.
But we have a few left. We sold a lot right out of the gate at $100. They're $50 now online.
You can get them on discount.
We sold, but like the thing is like we saw the people that bought it for $100. Right. We recognize those people. Yeah. Those are people that are like true fans, dedicated, and really they know that like that money is coming back to Bretto. right? And they're full-time, like they're real supporters of what he's done and what he's going to do going forward.
Yeah.
So that's why we put it out like that. We wanted to like find out who the real fans are. And plus, like when you look at it, man, like that's $100 record to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's
double
got
vinyl.
It's double vinyl. It's purple. It's got the gatefold. We put a lot of thought behind it.
Yeah.
Half Man Half did a phenomenal job on the artwork.
The artwork's crazy, bro.
It's crazy. It's dope. That's one of those records that like 50 years from now, people are gonna be like, they're like my grandkids are gonna be pulling that out of the crate. Like, what the fuck is this? This is bugged out. Like, you know, that's what we wanted to create with that.
It's just, it's not, you just, I mean, just looking at, you mentioned some of these names. I see Kenny Mac, Rev Shine, Sadell Jones. I see Verse, Jumbo, Wolverine, Theory Has It, Stuart Villain. Like it's just, it's classic. That's so dope. Kenny Mac, word. Yeah. So you release that, it comes out for a lot of, in a sense, it was almost like a welcome home to Libretto. You know, because it released soon at me. It was kind of the first major thing after he got home, and he's doing shows now, and
it had been out. You know, like to me, it's a classic album that nobody had heard.
Right.
So like, can you imagine like what's a classic album to you?
Oh, Paid in Full.
Paid in Full.
Word.
Okay, so yeah, of course, right?
Yeah.
So what if like 8 years, 5 years or whatever after Paid in Full came out, you were the only person that heard it.
Yeah.
And you just had it in your car.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Right.
That's kind of how I felt with this.
Yeah.
It was like, man, I just had this and nobody's really heard it and I had to do something with it. So that's why we did this.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So then you follow this up with another project that Bretto kind of shared with me, you know, that this was something that he was anxious to release. Once again, Half Man went in, and it's so crazy, bro, because the artwork on here is so timely, especially as we see what has happened in the months since our current president,
that orange motherfucker.
Oh my gosh, dude. You just gotta see the artwork. It's very, very fitting to what we're dealing with right now. Hit or Miss, featuring Boots Riley, and then on the B side, he got a joint Getaway featuring Lyrics Born. Once again, vinyl artwork is crazy. You mentioned these names though. You just say that Boots Riley and Lyrics, like that's the second release that you guys do. What?
Yeah, that's all Bretto. Yeah. Bretto's tied in, man.
Yeah.
Like he knows a lot of people.
Yeah.
He's toured with a lot of people.
Yeah.
He was signed to a label back in the day.
Yeah.
Boots and, Lyrics Born, those records were done.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so this 12-inch came about, Bretto and I were actually taking a trip up to Seattle one day, just him and I, and it was after Captain Crook came out, and we were just going for fun or whatever. We were gonna stay up there, and he was playing me some music in the car, and it was I think it was like October of last year or something.
Okay.
And these records came on his little like CD that he had all his shit on, and I was like, "Whoa, what's this?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yo, you like that?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Who's that on the feature?" He was like, "Boots Riley." Yeah. I was like, "Wow!" And I was like, "This shit's amazing." Yeah. And the more I thought about it, because we had like that was during the election, right? The more I thought about it, I was like, "Man, it would be dope if we did something a little bit political."
Yeah.
Right. So. The song itself, both of those songs are amazing, but they came at a time where I personally wanted to make some sort of statement. Like I was frustrated with the election, and so in November, December, I remember taking a trip. Actually, it was December. I remember taking a trip out to Pendleton, where I grew up, to visit my parents for Christmas. Yeah. And I was sitting in a Starbucks, and I was like, it just came together. I was like, we're going to do this album cover where we just shit on Donald Trump on the album cover. We're going to use that Boots Riley song. Yeah. And that's basically what this is. So this album cover is Donald Trump as a pig in the Oval Office with a crack pipe on his desk and guns. And there's, KKK on the wall and all that stuff.
Hitler over there, on the Confederate flag tie, all that.
Yeah, and like that really came from me, right? Half Man Half definitely captured what I was thinking about. Yeah, Bretto was down with it. He was a little bit reluctant, right, for the album work, but he understood at the same time, and he jumped on and he kind of helped us, but it was basically my brainchild to like really make this cover the way that it is. Yeah. I'll never do that again because my theory on Kiasu Records is like, I just want the artist to do what they want to do. Gotcha. So we caught some backlash for this 12-inch cover.
Did you?
Yeah, from, you can't just, dude, he's got Donald Trump has a Confederate flag tie on. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we caught some flack or whatever. I'll never do this again, but I felt like I was so frustrated in that election process and the fact that we hired this temporary employee as a, president or whatever. I was just like, I felt like I needed to do something when I had a platform.
And that's what I was going to say. Having a platform gives you an opportunity to do things like that. And so...
Right.
So it's out there, and once again, like you said, it's a time capsule. This is where you were at that time. And,
it is,
and, it'll live on. It'll live on forever.
The other side, though, is dope. That was a picture that Joe Mendonca made, and he's the guy that sings the hook on both those songs. Okay. And that actually looks dope as fuck.
Yeah,
too.
that joint is dope. So you got to check it out for real. It's Bandcamp.
We got KiasuRecords.bandcamp.com. We got it on there. KiasuRecords.com.
Okay, just go to the label's website for real. Chopping on my man DJ Sneakers, Kiasu Records. We probably gonna end up breaking this up into a two-parter, man, because we got into a lot of the history, sort of how we got to where we are right now and what's out and available right now. But so right now, as far as we know, Kiasu Records is you and Bretto. Bretto is the only artist that we know of right now.
We got Theory Has It.
What?
Yeah. We got a instrumental project by Theory in December coming.
Bruh.
Yeah.
That's a
yeah.
Wow.
We just locked that in.
That's
just
what's
locked
up,
that
bro.
in.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay, so Theory's been doing something crazy this year in 2017. Man. He's been releasing these beat tapes.
And they're amazing.
Every single one.
Feels is dope as fuck.
Man.
Dope.
And that's what I'm going to say. Every one that comes out, you like, what?
Yeah.
So Theory's releasing a beat tape on Kiasu Records that's coming out in 2017.
Yeah.
That's what's up, bro.
December
2017.
And it's all soul samples.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a double LP.
Word.
Yeah. And like each track is about a minute and a half. So it's basically chops. Like it's soul chops. Right. But actually I don't know, 'cause he's kind of structuring it right now. So I don't want to put too much into it. But
right.
It's all instrumental. Mm-hmm. It's all Theory Has It. Mm-hmm. It's all soul samples and just it's crazy. Like when he sent it to me, I was like at my desk, and I didn't really expect. I expected more like feels, right? Which is amazing, right? Like he's dope.
Yeah.
But then I listened to this and I was like, wow, like he picked the right samples.
Yeah.
It's something that with Kiasu Records, we're not just gonna put out rap music. Mm-hmm. Like it needs to be a certain type of hip hop. It needs to be something that like you can't get on SoundCloud.
Right.
It needs to be something different.
Right.
And that's what Theory's music is to me.
Yeah.
It's like I would have loved to put out that TH Doom record
that
he put out.
I
would love to put that out too, and we might down the road.
That record to me. So I've been Theory Has a fan for years and years and years. Everything that he puts out, I grab, play, love the stuff that he does, both production wise and as an MC. Theory's still one of those people where I played a joint last night, and the Hour One joint with Legends of the Fall with Ilmac and Theory.
Yeah.
And when Theory came on, somebody's like, "Who's that?" That's Theory. He's just that dude where he's so unassuming when you see him. Anyway,
his drums though,
bro,
his drums are ridiculous.
Bruh. And I love the fact that he took that TH Doom project sounds. It doesn't sound like somebody just put Doom's vocals over some random instrumental. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like he produced that, which is dope.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, okay, so it reminds me of like shit that this is definitely building up Theory, big time, but I remember buying like Madlib bootlegs on vinyl back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
That were like the same concept with Madlib beats.
Yeah.
And that's the feeling that it gave me when I listened to it.
Yeah.
And I almost went back and tried to find those. My house is full of vinyl or whatever, so I couldn't really find those vinyls or whatever, but I wanted to find those and just kind of compare or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I heard it, I was just like, okay, this is amazing. Yeah. But the same feeling that you had off of that, you're going to feel off of the shit that we're putting out on Kiasu Records, the full, double LP, except no vocals.
Okay.
It's just beats.
Okay.
It really belongs on vinyl.
Yeah. And to say that, to one of the things that I do enjoy about what Theory does is when he takes a project like that, and he did it with a couple of the beat tapes where he just chopped gospel records,
right?
And when he does that, when he's in that zone where this is where I'm going with this project, it feels like a project. So though you're saying, there may be there may be tracks that are a minute and a half, you still feel like you're getting this full comprehensive project, which is, to be able to do that, I think takes a special skill, and he definitely pulls that out with the projects that he put out, for real.
Yeah, he's kind of a mad scientist like that, right? And he's got his whole visual thing going on.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen any of his work there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all of the album, all of the album covers for these tapes that he's put out are all crazy.
Oh yeah, he did the artwork for this one too.
That's what's
Half Man's still gonna help on that. But Theory's got the album cover. It's really easy working with him, man, because it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting news, bro.
Yeah.
That's exciting news.
Done.
So you said Kiasu is not just going to be putting out hip hop records. What is the vision for the label?
So this record label is just, it's the label itself is my expression of art, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's we're putting out stuff that I like.
Mm-hmm.
But not just like, I listen to like Jeezy and stuff like that at the gym every day.
Yeah.
Like, I just, I listen to Freddie Gibbs, and Freddie Gibbs is an artist that, in certain shit, like I would put out Freddie Gibbs.
Yeah.
Right. But like, it's really like we're going to put out music that belongs on vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
And as well as I do what belongs on vinyl and what belongs on SoundCloud, right? There's certain records. We're not trying to put out 20 songs a month.
Right.
I know that like a lot of artists have to do that to keep up and to keep their name relevant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if Kiasu Records is relevant.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I just want, when people come across our creative records in 20 years, which it will be a crate and a half, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I want them to be like, this is the quality shit that, we want to keep alive. This is really, hip hop should sound like this. Right. And that's what it is. And that's what Libretto puts out. That's what Theory puts out.
Right.
Any artist that I work with is gonna be that, right? So and no knock on people doing the SoundCloud and or just doing their whole thing, putting out videos and trying to keep up and putting out all of that content. We just can't do that. It's not. I mean, each vinyl project costs thousands of dollars, right? So we have to definitely reel it back in and focus on quality over quantity. Yeah.
And that's that's something that doesn't happen now because there is so much access to music and so many ways for people who are creators to put it out there that you can do that. Every week you can release something new. Maybe it's just a song or just an EP. But I think it's cool to know that you have a vision of this is who we're going to be. This is the way that we're going to do it moving forward and establishing that. And I think that allows you to do things boutique style where you say, hey, here's a project and it's gonna cost you $100, but this is why we value it at that, because you're not gonna just see it floating on the internet for you to go and download, which is crazy.
Yeah, you'll never see that. We just we keep the quantity real low.
Yeah.
The artists that I interact with, Bretto has a project that's coming up in Q4. The same time we're putting out Theories project, Bretto's doing something with Liquid Beat.
Oh, word?
Yeah. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it.
Okay.
But he's doing something, so something's going to come from Bretto on Liquid Beat in like Q4, like that range.
Yeah.
I don't know much. I know some stuff about it, but I can't talk about it.
Right.
But like, the artists that I work with are their own artist, right? This isn't Death Row Records, right?
Right.
You're not like locked in with me and I'm going to control everything that you do.
Yeah.
We're not Universal or anything like that. It's like, man, you're going to come in, we'll do a vinyl project, and then it will live forever, like a time capsule. And then you're free to do whatever the fuck you want to do. Obviously.
Yeah. Do you feel like there are artists now that you have, and you don't have to name names, but like, man, here's somebody that I really want to do a project with. Like, I haven't talked to them yet, or haven't approached them, or they haven't approached me, but this is somebody that I know I want to do something with.
The only one that I'm old school, right? The only person that I kind of feel that way around is Versatile.
Word.
That's it.
Word.
But he doesn't need me.
Yeah.
He does it on his own.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But at some point I'd love to, do something with Verse.
That would be crazy.
He's just dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it would have to be the right situation.
Oh yeah. No doubt.
Where it would be something different, right? Like maybe he wants to do something with like a certain producer or something, and only put out a few hundred copies, something like that.
Right.
That would be dope to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I talked to Mike Crenshaw. Mike Crenshaw is another one that I'd really like to work with on that level. And I've known Mike Crenshaw forever.
Yeah.
It's not about selling, right? Like, it's not about like making money necessarily. We're going to make money regardless. I make money every day, period.
Yeah.
Like, whether it's off of hip hop or all the other stuff that I have going on, I'm going to make money.
Right.
I want to work with artists that like I respect. And that's what Kiasu Records is about. And Mike Crenshaw is definitely one of those people. Because 50 years from now, Mike Crenshaw's style and his whole, people are going to go back and they're going to be like, who, and if that's the only vinyl that he ever did or whatever.
Right.
That means something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because then it truly is about the art.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. So you've got the project dropping in December from Theory Has It. I know that there are some other things in the works. What do you want people to be looking for? When people think of Kiasu Records, what do you want them to be looking for in the next 6 months moving into 2018?
So we got a Q1. We're gonna do a Libretto and Vitamin D double LP. So Vitamin D is a producer from Seattle that's like a legendary producer. A lot of people say, I don't know for sure, I'm not that close to Vitamin D, but a lot of people say that like he's the guy that basically taught Jake One, or like maybe didn't teach Jake One, but like was, he's
influential.
Close. Influential. Right.
Yeah.
But Vitamin's a legend in Seattle. So him and Bretto hooked up, and we just like we're putting the finishing touches on this double LP.
Yeah.
On vinyl. Bretto told me I can't tell you who we have as features, but I can tell you that it's somebody from like the Dilla camp, right?
I know a little
Midwest.
bit. I know a little bit, and I know you can't. You probably shouldn't say too much.
We got somebody from BBE, the Fresno area, on there. All of these people that I'm mentioning sound amazing on vinyl.
Yeah.
We got somebody from Pete Rock's camp, the UN, East Coast. We got somebody from Griselda.
Okay.
Griselda.
Okay.
Not West Side Gun.
Okay.
But somebody that's down with West Side Gun.
Okay.
And we also have somebody from Quantum that's not the Lifesaver. We have the Lifesavers on there.
Oh,
right?
word.
We have Jumbo on there.
Okay.
I can say that.
Right. That's fam. That's right.
Yeah,
that's
there's fam.
Yeah.
But we got somebody else that's very well known from Quantum that
up.
jumped on that same track with Jumbo.
That's what's up.
And it's a double LP.
That's gonna. So I mean, because when I don't know how I should say this. When I was first made, I can say it because you said it. When I was first made aware of Bretto doing a project with Vitamin D, like bruh, you got Vitamin D doing production for you, and then he was sharing with me some of the artists he was hoping to get on here, and to know that some of this is coming to fruition.
It's done. Like it's in the bag. Like we're not at the stage where we're mastering yet, but they're just like Vitamin is basically putting the loose, like tying off the loose ends. Like he's just fixing everything. It's done. We have all the verses, all the songs are written and recorded.
Yeah.
We could push this and try to get it out in Q4, but since Bretto has his thing with Liquid, Beat, and I've got Theory's project, we're just gonna take our time a little bit more, and make sure that it's perfect. Because we don't even have like artwork for this album yet, so we're gonna take a little bit of time and just make sure that it's dialed in. Right.
That's what's
but
up.
It's gonna be the one. Like this is really the one that like I'm really, I mean, I'm looking forward to Theory's instrumental album as well. That's gonna be amazing. But the production and stuff that we've put in to Bretto's album is I'm definitely anticipating that too.
That's just crazy, bro. That's so. I mean, and people listen to this. They may not get it yet, but you'll get it. You'll get it when it drops.
Yeah, I hope so. And then going forward, man, I just I'm not just like limited to Northwest artists, but I do. I mean, this is where I came up, right? Like these are the people that I feel need my help. Not my help,
but you have like a platform.
The platform. I feel like I want to share this platform with people from here because I see them working and they deserve it. Is really what it is. Is this a situation where you are inviting people to come to you, or are you going to just build relationships with people and approach them? I mean, I have relationships with a lot of people. You can find me on Twitter. I talk a lot of shit on Twitter. Theory just kind of came to me. Theory actually, you can see the Wetwork logo on that Captain Crook. But we didn't know each other before that came out. And then all of a sudden, like, he just called me. He was like, hey, man, I got this idea. I was like, I love that idea. Like, let's talk a little bit more. A couple months went by. We re-engaged. It's organic, right? That's really how I like to work with people. I'm not calling for, I mean, people have their own movements. You don't need Kiasu Records to put out your records, right? But if it's something where, you feel like you're doing the right type of hip hop and it fits in with what we're doing, and you want to talk about it, man, I'm always down for that. Always.
That's what's up, man. DJ Sneakers, man, live on Klyph Notes. We covered a lot, bro. We definitely covered a lot, but there's still so much more, and it's cool to see that this is a new chapter in your musical on your musical journey, and it's just exciting to see it grow. From from that Captain Crook project that, like you said, has been waiting to be released for so long, to now see a little bit of momentum, and momentum with like good quality stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
There is the competition, obviously, of other labels. A lot of them, many of them, internet based.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the fact that you express having that thought process of, look, man, I just want to put art out, that in and of itself is gonna make you successful, just because of the people you're building with.
That's it. I mean, the success, I already feel like we're successful.
Yeah.
The manufacturing process itself, when you come to the end of it, you're just like, I mean, when we get these boxes and we haven't even sold them yet, and they're just like in my trunk, I feel like a success.
Yeah.
Just for having them, I'm just like, holy shit, we actually created music.
Yeah.
And I'm driving away from Cascade record pressing like, oh shit, we just did something. Now we have to sell them.
Right.
But I already feel accomplished when I'm pulling off the lot.
Yeah.
Like I have the music and it's pressed. Whether or not people, I mean, of course we're going to sell it. The music's going to sell itself because it's quality, right?
Yeah.
But that's really the rush that I feel isn't when I sell each individual unit. It's when we, produce the finished product and I'm looking at it. Bretta will tell you, I don't even listen to the music before we put it on vinyl.
Word?
I don't listen to it at all. Period. Like I don't. Captain Crook I did obviously for years.
Yeah, right.
And the other, but with the Vitamin D record, I haven't listened to one song because I don't want, like, my input doesn't matter when it comes to that part of the creative process. My input matters when it comes to the manufacturing process, right? Mm-hmm. And getting stuff done on a timeline and getting the artwork set up and getting everything on the website, getting it distributed, all of that stuff. That's where I come in. And so I don't want to blur those lines where I'm like, hey man, can you change this hook or whatever? Because I'm opinionated when it comes to music.
Right.
I want him to focus that. And with Theory, same thing. Yeah. Like I listened to it a couple days ago. And I was just done. Like, okay, perfect. Yeah. Like I'm, you could fix a snare here or there, but that's not like, that's your music, whatever.
That's what's up, man. And the artist has to love that. They have to love that.
Yeah.
You mentioned him, man. Big shout out to Cascade Records, Mark and all of the folk over there, man. It's got to be so nice to have a record manufacturing plant literally right here where you can just drive over and pick them up.
Portland's so amazing because not only do we have that, but we have Future Shock.
Word.
Right?
Local record store.
A local record store that like pushes our shit.
Yeah.
Like when I go in there, he's telling me, he doesn't push it, but he's like, he's talking about it, right? Yeah. Like he's a supporter.
Right.
There's a lot of Portland's can you imagine trying to do this shit in like Memphis as like an independent hip hop, like, with like, it's just different, like, different cities. Can you imagine trying to do it in like Boise, Idaho or something? Portland is a melting pot of creative, like-minded people. And I feel like starting a record label here is so much easier than starting a record label in a lot of other cities because we have these resources and we have people like you, that'll like actually put me on the radio to talk about, that's rare.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, Portland's great.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. My man, DJ Sneakers, man. A lot of stuff, bro. A lot of stuff. What else we need to let the people know?
I think we covered a lot.
Yeah. We might have to do a part 2 on this one, B.
Yeah, we might have to do a part 2.
Right.
And I know you're doing a part 2 with Cool Nuts.
Yeah, like 3
I'd love
4.
to, like, man, honestly, like today we kind of jam-packed like my history and stuff like that. Yeah. And like I condensed a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd love to like dive into like the history of Portland hip hop from my perspective and your perspective as well.
Yeah.
I'd love to be a part of a conversation like that because I feel like, you're a super fan of hip hop, right? Like,
absolutely.
And especially Portland hip hop.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because when I walk into like a mic check or something like that, right? Like, I feel like I'm kind of like you, where like, we see Sly the Brown Hornet, and we're like, yo,
right,
legend,
right,
you know what I mean? Like,
right, yeah.
You know, and I'm always like in the front row.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Like every time Cool Nuts will tell you, man. Every time Cool Nuts is performing, I'm in the front row.
Yeah.
That 76 Nova joint is my song.
Yeah,
that's my shit. So anytime I'm in the venue and he's performing, I'm right there in the front. I don't care what people think about me. I'm not cooler than anybody. Like, I'm gonna be in that front row, you know, pumping my fist, supporting people.
Well, I mean, and I think that's one of the things that I shared with Cool Nuts is, you know, I am such a fanboy. I am a true fan of hip hop,
right?
As a culture, the MCing, DJing, b-boying, graph writing, and I feel like the area that I'm most knowledgeable of is you know, lyricism and DJing.
Yeah,
and I appreciate so much the fact that as an art form, just like any other art form, people who have the skill set to put forth good quality music, I celebrate that. And to have an opportunity, for me then, I can look at it as artists like Cool Nuts and Sly and Versatile and, you know, all these artists, and then DJs like yourself, OG1, Juggernaut.
Man, shout out to OG1.
Bruh. You know what I mean? These are people who have done so much to creating a foundation so that I can have a radio show, so that I can have a podcast. And then to be able to sit down and have I said to Kunos the other day, man, the fact that I have your telephone number in my phone, like, that's crazy to me because I am a true fan of it.
Yeah, man.
And that's what I hope we don't lose that. You know what I'm saying? I hope we don't lose. And it's not like, I mean, none of us are gods. So I don't praise anybody on that level, but appreciating the fact that, like, I have access, but then people who are artists have access to folk like yourself, these other names that we mentioned. I just really want to continue to build those connections, because that's the thing that I believe will make the scene continue to grow and build from here, you know, into the next generation.
Man, absolutely right, man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's really what it is. And that attitude will attract, you know, more people.
Yeah.
Because basically you're creating a legacy. This podcast and the radio stuff that you're doing, you're creating that history that people will always go back to and check for. I saw Versatile today. He's talking about creating a documentary about 80s Portland hip hop, right?
Yep. Yeah.
I'm like, word, other than you, the U Crew?
Yep. Mm-hmm,
other than that, I don't even know anything about it.
So,
I mean, were they in the 80s or early 90s? I can't remember.
They were in the 80s. So I'm not sure how much of this I can actually share. I don't know how much of this is out, but and actually, by the time by the time this drops, I think it will have happened. X-Ray FM is doing X-Ray FM is the radio station I do my radio show Welcome to the Neighborhood on, and they're actually doing a docu-series on Portland music.
Dope.
And a part of that is the Portland hip hop scene. So it's been interesting, man, in trying to make connections and then talking to more people, realizing I actually have more connections than I realized. And Verse has actually shared a lot of the history of the Portland scene.
That's dope.
And it's pretty amazing, bro. And my hope is that as that information comes out, it builds a whole new level of community within our Portland hip hop scene. And maybe even I then get to meet some people who I didn't even know of.
You don't know J-Mac and shit?
Bruh.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of folk that I know. Maybe I've heard some names, but I've never met folk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's so, one of the things that I appreciate is that hip hop is officially like a you know, an adult now.
Right.
You know, 40 plus years old as an art form.
That's true.
So, you know, it's cool now to be able to have people come back from living lives, having children, having careers
and
outside of the music
all the way
industry.
Back. You can't get away.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I say all that to say, yeah, to do more of that, to talk more about the history of the Portland hip hop scene, how it's maybe been influenced by the Bay, which is huge for Portland.
It's huge.
But then also East Coast hip hop and Southern hip hop. You know what I mean?
Southern hip hop, East Coast,
and then what Versatile. I can't wait for people to hear it. Versatile describes his sense of the Portland sound in a very cool way. So I can't wait for people to hear that.
I'm with it, man.
You know what I'm saying? DJ Sneakers, bruh. I can't say thank you enough, man.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Fun, man.
Like I said, and this has been a long time coming, and I value what you've done and in the past, and now what you're doing with the label and the opportunities that you're giving to people. And everybody knows I always say it, man, louder than words. Whatever ways I can help to support people who are doing good things, doing good quality things, and then doing good things just good, good people. I want to continue to use my platform for that, B. So
I'm with it, man.
I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on this.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, man. One more time, give them the website.
KiasuRecords.com. KIASU Records.com.
Okay. So go there, and then there's links there to all of the social media and everything else.
There is. I mean, it's Kiasu Records everywhere you go.
Makes it easy.
So,
Makes it easy.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Be on the look for the new release from my man Theory Has It before the end of the year. And then we're looking forward to the new Bretto joint with Vitamin D soon after 2018. And who knows, something else might even sneak out there. So y'all need to definitely stay tuned for that. Remember, you can subscribe to the Klyph Notes podcast wherever you listen to your podcast: iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play, wherever you Pocket Cast. So go ahead and rate and share and subscribe, and be on the lookout for more great conversations coming in the future. You can hit me all over social media at DJ Klyph, or just go to the website www.djklyph.com. That's DJKLYPH.com. And then once again, don't forget, go check out Acapella Apparel. That's AKEPELE Apparel.com. All right, y'all. Until next time, God bless. Peace.